4, which we are starting our transformations unit. Transformations means is we're dealing with a coordinate system and we're dealing with some shape, some point, something of that sort. It's either going to be translated, dilated, reflected, or rotated. And today we're looking specifically at translations. So translations, there's always going to be a horizontal shift or a vertical shift. It's never going to change shape or size, okay? So that's exactly what's going to happen with a translation. So let's go ahead and look at this first example, and we'll go ahead and figure out exactly what I mean by translations and exactly how to write a translation rule, okay? So here we go. So right now it says here, translate or slide, so keyword slide, point Y from the graph, 3 units down and 1 unit to the left, and write the coordinates of Y and Y prime. So you see a prime here, that means start and finish, okay? So let's go and look at this. So it looks like Y here is at 1, positive 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So 1, positive 7. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this original coordinate, I'm gonna slide it 3 units down, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1 unit to the left, 1 unit to the left, which is right here. Okay, I'm gonna put in a different color, and this right here. Okay, and on this graph, this is gonna be known as, we just said, is gonna be known as Y prime. Okay, so that is a translation. You're taking a point and moving it across. Okay, so now by rule, or by definition, we have to end up making a definition on the translation rule. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up be giving a X and Y coordinate, which is my original point. I'm going to draw an arrow, which that means translate, means dilate, reflect, or rotate. It means something is changing to that point. And it is going to change into X plus or minus if we go down. And then you're going to put H, which is going to be your horizontal shift. And then we're going to go Y plus or minus K, and K is going to end up being your vertical shift. So H is going to be vertical, and then K is going to be, or no, sorry, flip that. Sorry. H is going to be horizontal, K is going to be vertical. Okay? So let's go and write my rule here. So I started up here up top, which was X comma Y. And then what I notice here on my X coordinate here, so 1 turned into 0. So this turned into 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Turned into 0 comma 4. So if I look, I have positive 1, and then my new coordinate turned out to be 0. So I ended up subtracting 1. So look, I went to the left 1. So that means X was subtracted by 1, okay? Next is gonna be my Y coordinate. So Y, I ended up going down 1, 2, 3, because 7 minus 3 gives me 4. So I took my Y coordinate and ended up subtracting it by 3. So ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be your translation rule, and we actually graphed it 3 units down and 1 unit to the left. So this is how you end up making a translation rule. Okay. Number 1 here. All right. It wants you to translate the rectangle 2 units up and 5 units to the left. So it looks like it just wants you to translate it. Remember, translations, nothing is going to happen to the whole shape of it. It's always going to stay the same shape. So on example number 1, let's go ahead and look at it. So bring me this. I'm going to use some cool color. Let's use this color right here. I like that color. Okay, so here we go. Look in here. So it wants to translate the rectangle 2 units up and 5 units to the left. So right now I could actually take this and do it physically. So I'm gonna do that 1 point, and then I'm gonna show you how to do it mathematically. So I'm gonna take this point, I'm gonna go 2 units up, so 1, 2, and then 5 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this, ladies and gentlemen, would be B prime, okay? I'm gonna do the same thing with C. So I'm gonna go 2 units up, 1, 2, and then over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 would actually be off of this graph. That would be C prime, okay? So those would be your points, and you could do that with all of them. Or if I want to do the same thing, but do it graphically. So X, Y is going to translate into, I know I'm taking the X coordinate it says I'm going 2 units to the left, or 5 units to the left, so I'm going to subtract 5. And then 2 units up, so I'm going to take the y coordinate and I'm going to add 2. So this is a different way you can do it. So I'm going to take the x coordinate of A here, which is 3, and I'm going to subtract 5. So 3 minus 5 gives me -2, okay? And then y, I'm going to add 2 to the y coordinate, so I'm at 2, which would be 4. So it'd be -2, +4. So this right here would be A prime. Now let's go ahead and count it and see. So over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 2. 1, 2, boom, it put me there, okay? So let's look at D. My x coordinate's -3, so -5 would be at -8. And then my y coordinate is 2, plus 2 would be 4. So -8 plus 4 would end up giving me my D prime. So ladies and gentlemen, that is how you can shift that whole thing and move it over by doing a translation. Okay, so you're literally taking the shape and moving it over 5 and up 2. Okay? All right, let's look at example number 2 here. So it says the image of the triangle XYZ is shown on the graph. If triangle XYZ was translated up 3 units and right 2 units, what are the coordinates of the pre-image? Ooh. So right now we're understanding the definition of image and pre-image. So pre always means before. So pre-image is what you originally had, and then it's gonna change into the image, okay? So right here, if triangle XYZ was translated up 3 and right 2, what are the coordinates of the pre-image? So that means we're gonna take this and we're gonna undo the translation to get what those points were originally. So that means we went 3 units up and 2 to the right. So that means we're gonna take each point and we're gonna go down 3 and over 2. So I'm gonna take this coordinate and go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. So this, my ladies and gentlemen, would end up being Z. So I'm gonna take X and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this would be X prime. And then I'm gonna take Y, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. So this is gonna be Y prime, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, those are gonna be your new coordinates of, actually, not your new ones, your old ones, because this is my original image because we undid what just happened, okay? So Z turned into Z prime, X turned into X prime, Y turned into Y prime, okay? And these, ladies and gentlemen, so my coordinates are gonna be -2, -1 of this one. This is gonna be +4, 0. Okay, and then this is gonna be 0, -4. And we can actually see, look here. So right here, this coordinate Y is gonna be positive what, 6, and then +3, okay? So that means I went down 3 units, so 3 minus 3 gave me 0. And then 2 units, I went to the left 2 units, so 6 to 4, subtract 2. So ladies and gentlemen, that's how you work backwards and work through the translation to end up getting your math here correct, okay? All right, so lastly, we're gonna click out of this and we're gonna look at this last example down here on the bottom. So it says, triangle ABC has been translated 4 units up and 1 unit to the right. What is the transformation rule for that translation, okay? So again, I know that this is gonna be a translation because it's telling me that it's being translated, okay? So to write my rule, I'm always gonna write it as X comma Y. So I'm gonna take the original coordinate, arrow means the transformation, and then I have to say what's happening to the X coordinate, what's happening to the Y coordinate after this transformation. Triangle ABC has been translated 4 units up. So up means I'm going to add. So I'm gonna go to the Y coordinate. Up means I'm going to add 4 to the Y coordinate, okay? And 1 unit to the right. So right in math is gonna be positive. So that means X coordinate's horizontal. So I'm gonna add 1 to the X. So ladies and gentlemen, off of the information given inside of example number 3, this is the translation rule. So that means I would take every single point of ABC, run it through the translation rule, and it's gonna give me the coordinates of my translated figure, okay?